Hiya, it is the Player Ranking Show. This is where we reflect on Liverpool's 1-0 win against Inter Milan at the San Siro. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Ste as we get to speak about a Liverpool win. And my word, it was a big win, Ste. Let me tell you, it's been a rough week for us as fans, but I can only expect it to be a horrendous week for the players as well. But they showed heart, they showed grit, they showed determination, and they showed that they were going to stand by that manager. I think it was a big performance from the lads in red tonight.
Yeah, listen, it wasn't like vintage attacking, all-out attack, blow everyone away, but like, you know, you're going away to Inter Milan, finalists, top side, haven't lost at home in the Champions League for 3 years. Liverpool, of course, going not only in terms of what's gone off the field this week, what's been going on the field for the last couple of months, really, probably feeling a little bit low in confidence. And you're right, this idea of, you know, I've seen him banded around a few times, the team aren't playing for the manager. I've never really felt that. There was a time, I think the Nottingham Forest game was the first time I thought, there's something not quite right there. But actually, you couldn't look at those lads today and say they're not playing, whether it's for the manager, for themselves, for the shirt or whatever. They don't look like a gang of lads who aren't interested, which has been put at their feet. And, you know, yeah, it has been a rough week. Obviously, the Salah situation, not ideal. I've just been watching all the post-game interviews, and every single question was about that. You know what I mean? How was the game? Oh, by the way, can we ask you about Mo? Robbo got it, Virgil got it. Like, they're all getting it. The manager had it at his press conference. Alisson Becker got it at his press conference. So there was, you know, to go to Italy and win anyway against Milan would be tough enough. Going into it on the back of a week like that would make it even more difficult, you would think. You never want any added distractions. It's the worst thing you can do. Again, it's why I was critical of Salah's interview in general. It's that it just added another layer on top of this. Liverpool are already doing bad. They don't need more things to add on to it. But yeah, fair play to them. I thought they showed a lot of character. And I know that sometimes is a word that is laughed at, Chloe, but sometimes you do have to just go and show a little bit of fight. And when you're not playing particularly well and it isn't free-flowing football and it isn't all 1-2s and everything's going your way, sometimes you've just got to show, you know, win your battles, win your tackles, get stuck in, stick at it, run round loads, drop to the floor with cramp if you have to. And I think we saw all that from them tonight, so fair play to them.
We did, and look, Liverpool, I've said it, they've used a lot of excuses so far this season. They've looked a little bit lethargic, a little bit lazy, not shown a lot of heart. But tonight it was like, you know, let's do the fundamentals, and we're doing the fundamentals as best as we can. And I just thought it was a solid and resolute performance. And if anything, this week of all weeks is probably the biggest time where they could have used, you know, the whole Salah slot saga as an excuse. That is one of your leaders coming out into the public and causing this chaos between, you know, the dressing room. And Sabo the other day comes out and says, what happens in that dressing room, the way we feel, it all should stay private. And then Salah comes out and does what he does and makes it public. And I think when that happens, a lot of people just assumed, well, he's lost the dressing room then, hasn't he? Clearly the players must be thinking the same. They must have expected Salah to come and do this. But that wasn't a performance that made me think that they all want Slot gone. It wasn't a performance that made me think, you know, we might not have to put in 100% here, because if we don't and another, you know, 2 bad results come here in this, you know, next week, then that manager might be off. He's under real stress and pressure at the moment. That was a team of players there who was like, I'm gonna give everything. I'm gonna put in a solid performance. I'm gonna win my individual battles. I'll try and show a little bit of quality, but most important, I'll do the fundamentals. I'll show a lot of heart. I'll show a lot of grit. I'll show a lot of work rate, and hopefully, you know, something goes our way. And I just really enjoyed that, because I like I said, I've criticised them quite a lot this season, and a lot of them I think have tried to maybe hide from, you know, the ball in games, where today I just thought they went in with a really good mentality.
Yeah, and listen, you're right there, and you know the set piece defending, which much maligned, was much better. There was a couple of times where lads were getting out and putting blocks. You know, Virgil was much maligned at Sunderland for that attempted block from the long shot. Today there's a big chance for Arne, and there's Virgil van Dijk on top of him. They're getting right into it. So they've definitely learned a few lessons. I agree with you that the commitment levels were there, and again, it might just be down to the injuries and the illnesses, and you know, obviously Mo being not with the team for obvious reasons. The manager changes the shape. I think that was a pretty resolute Liverpool 11. I think we were speaking before and on the watch song, like in terms of back fours and midfield fours, that's a pretty solid one. There's not too much, you know, you haven't got the extra attacking flair, for example, of a Florian Wirtz, or you'd say Robbo maybe a little bit more conservative at left back than Milos Kerkez. Joe Gomez is definitely a little bit more conservative at right back. And I think I understand the manager making those decisions for a few different reasons, as hands were tied a little bit, but also we have just been too easy to score goals against at times. And it's the reason, ultimately, I think he's explained it himself, the reason why he did take Mo Salah out the team in the first place, which is a massive call. And again, whether you agree with it or you don't, the manager's explanation was we want to be harder to score against. And actually, since he's made that decision, I felt that was the case at West Ham. I definitely felt it was the case against Sunderland. I actually thought it was the case for 70 odd minutes against Leeds until Ibu Konate has a bit of a brain fart. It was definitely the case tonight. You are losing something in attack, there's no doubt about it. We are not all out attack, looking like we're going to score every time we go forward. We have sacrificed a little bit of that, but I think that was the manager's decision, because we were just losing too many games, or drawing whatever too many games, because we couldn't keep clean sheets. We couldn't stop the teams getting chance after chance. I think back to that Palace game where they had tons of opportunities. You know, they conceded 3 against Forest, 4 against PSV. Like, he had to do something, which is why he made that big call. So if Liverpool went out tonight and got absolutely played off the park, 4 goals, go past them against Milan, I think people would rightly ask the question, well, you've took Mo Salah out, there's all this drama, and actually you're still letting loads of chances, you're still conceding loads of goals. They didn't actually concede many chances at all today. You know, there was a good header from Martinez, which I know the goalkeeper makes a good save from, but other than that, there weren't like too many opportunities where Inter Milan looked like they were cutting us open, or really testing Alisson Becker. When we do his rankings later, I'm sure, for example, there won't be much to talk about. So it's worked out. I think the manager needed this win. The clean sheet really helps him as well. It won't satisfy everyone. There'll still be people out there calling for his head. Completely, that's your opinion. I understand it. But it keeps the Wolves away from the door, like you mentioned. And yeah, it doesn't quite justify everything that's gone on, but he'll feel a lot happier now. You know, he'll feel vindicated. He'll feel proud of his players. And like I say, when he does go back, and hopefully these conversations with Mo Salah happen, and he can you know, mend this broken relationship. Hopefully they can. It can start, you know, if you got beat there 5-0 and you sit down and you go, well, what can you say? It maybe gives him a little bit more authority in that conversation. So yeah, it was a vital win, and fair play to them. They all showed a lot of bottle and a lot of character there. Yeah,
I mean, you talk about one of the best players coming out and, you know, outing the manager very much. And like you said there, that was a group of players who you know, weren't sitting there to try and get the players out. I'll come to you one more time, because I think another big point to this is the fact that you looked at the bench and there was absolutely nothing on there. Yeah. So you know, those players who are playing, they've got to give 90 minutes of absolute energy, absolute work rate. You know, you get really tired in the second half, but you've got to dig deep and you've got to find another gear. And that midfield, all 4 of them were playing. You had Florian Wirtz to bring on, and that was about it, to try and help that midfield out. They knew that they were going to have to put in a dogged 90 minutes, and that they'll probably have to play another 90 minutes on the weekend, albeit maybe, you know, one of them is taking out the game. So I just thought from the out point, it was a case of, we're not just doing it because of the noise around us, but we're also doing it because there's a lot of lads on that bench who are young, who you don't want to throw into the limelight and put under pressure at the San Siro. And I think a lot of them knew they were going to have to play 90 minutes and it was going to be a tough game of football. Yeah. But I think they were up to the task, and I really did think, you know, they just showed a lot of leadership and a lot of heart and desire. Yeah,
and I think we could have all guessed what we knew at some point Conor Bradley was going to come on for Joe Gomez, and we knew Wirtz was going to come on. It was probably going to be for Isak. We don't know, he's quite ready yet to do the 90 minutes. I think most of us could pre-plan that, unless something happened with an injury or whatever. Like, obviously that happened to Inter, didn't it? Their plans were scuppered twice within half an hour with 2 injuries. So yeah, they all knew. This isn't one of those where you can think, right, I can lay it on the line for 45, 60 minutes, knowing, right, I've done my job, tag in, there you go, for example, you come on the bench and finish it. Most of those lads knew there that they were in for the long haul, and still managed, you know, at the end, for example, Alexis McAllister clearly cramping up, really put effort in for them. So yeah, again, whether it's for the manager, the shirt, themselves, for us, for whatever, you know, their own ambitions, they want to win the Champions League still, you know, that might be a pipe dream at this moment in time, but this season it's been crazy in this Champions Champions League. Liverpool have lost to PSV and Galatasaray, but they've went and beat Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid and Inter Milan. It's bizarro world, so anything could happen. But whatever their personal motivation is and whoever they're doing it for or whatever they're doing it for, I think every one of them will get back on that plane home tonight thinking we left it all out on the pitch. And sometimes that's all we can ask for. You know, you want free-flowing football, you want everything to be going your way, you want us to blow teams away 8-0, of course you do, but I think the least you can require is, did you come off that pitch knowing I was fully focused for 90 odd minutes, no stupid mistakes, no mad errors, and did I leave every last bit of energy on the field? And I think we could say for pretty much all of them that was the case. Yeah,
it certainly was. And look, I'm proud of those lads tonight. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Slot
that's a good word,
is proud of those lads tonight. Yeah. And look, we're not going to get too high about it because who knows what Liverpool will show up on Saturday. But what I can say is tonight I'm really proud of the lads in red who played on that football pitch, dug deep and got us a big win.
That was a clip from the Player Ranking Show. If you'd like to check out the show in full in either video or podcast form, simply head to redmenplus.com.